Okay, I'm just going to go over in this episode some things with SVG to help with your Tailwind UI and your Rails code, your Rails views. So I'm just doing like a Teams thing here where you invite users to a team. And I just thought it'd be pretty cool to get, since this is only a simple form here, I just took a look at what Tailwind had. And in this section, what's it called, like form groups or something, I just picked one of these here. You know, it has two icons there for the button. You can see I modified them to be like this. I'm not saying this looks good, but I'm just kind of, I don't know if I'll go with this as a final thing, but I also added a SVG here. This is SVG here as well. I'm going to talk a little bit about it. And let's take a look at this code here. You're going to see that this SVG, if you don't know, is inlined here. And the reason inline is important is because you can style it better. And you can do many things when you can put the SVG inline, as opposed to using the image tag. For example, I'm using the image tag here. So this is just an image tag, SVG image tag. I can do some things to the class, but like if I tried to change the color here, it's not going to work. So let's look at this one. So this one is inlined. And here I'm able to change, let me change the color here to blue. And then you see it changes the color. So inlining is important. Now, there's a nice gem to help with that in Rails called Inline SVG. I'm using it. Suggest you do too. It will work with, right now I'm loading images via sprockets. So you can just use this right here. I believe if you're using Webpack, you're going to have to use this one. So let's look at some of the code. Now, if you notice, like this is verbose. I mean, have a whole SVG tag, and we're trying to make things a little cleaner in the code. We're not going to worry about a lot of markup. That's, or excuse me, a lot of classes, because we're using Tailwind. We're going to get that trade-off of a rapid UI development and the ability to customize. So we don't care so much about the long class names. This is like a different era. You know, like 10 years ago, we cared about really clean markup, and it kind of mattered for size too. But in 2020 here, we can deliver web pages super fast, compressed. So we're kind of going back then with on-click tags you see with Alpine or with Stimulus in the JS world, and now with Tailwind CSS, where we're not caring about that so much because it helps us, the developer, rapidly develop. We're not looking over the style sheets for this and these pre-customized components. We get customized components, especially with Tailwind UI, but then we're able to tweak them easily right in the markup. Anyway, do we really need to add these kinds of things? No. We want to, in this case, we want to use the inline SVG tag, and that's what I'm doing in this case here. Here, and over here. All right. So let's go back, and here you can see got it there and there. So those are these two in the form here, actually. Now, where are these coming from? You see it has plus circle, it has SM user, where are these and what's going on? Now, the Tailwind guys released these hero icons. It's under refactoring UI. That's the name of one of their products as well. And because there's different hero icons, is by Steve Sugar. These are the ones that are being used in Tailwind UI and are now open source. So what you can do is download these. Okay, you can just download a zip file. You can, I put them right in my app assets images. Now here I just do Hero Icons Master, and I just extracted it right here. I'm going to get rid of these two, and what I did was I took the dist directory, these two, the contents of these two, and just put them in an icons directory, so they're all dumped in there. One thing to know is like you're not going to be able to view these because of the way I have Gaplin as an SVG viewer by default, and it's not going to show anything here. If you want to browse, you need to use the source here. Okay, and still, you know, Mac doesn't do a preview for these, so if anybody knows about that, if you can put it in the comments, that'd be cool. But I can at least view these in Gaplin. See right here. So like I probably will put this in like my downloads directory or some other directory, not in the assets directory, of course. But the dist is what you're actually going to want to use to inline. All right, and you have these two sets. One is the MD is an outline, and the SMs are solid. Okay, so you stick them in your pipeline like that. Let's go back, and then I can include them in just like that. Now what I can do then too, now that I'm inlining, is I can it's important in so in Tailwind there's a good section on SVG on the Tailwind docs on what you need to do. There's a fill current and a fill stroke. So if you have one that's an outline, like what we just showed, you're going to use fill stroke. If it's solid, you use fill current. This would be a solid fill current, okay? So this one is a MD. So I'm going to use fill current here. And I can make it red. Can do the size right here, height and width. This one is, I'm sorry, the SM is solid. The stroke is MD and prefix, and that I use stroke current and text screen. So you see we saved a good amount of markup, at least here. It looks a little better. Notice I'm not using simple form here. If you saw the other episode, just using form 4. It's just one. And I'm not going to get weird about putting all the classes away or making putting these into a Tailwind helper. Like, I want to move quickly, and I don't anticipate either putting a lot of things in style sheets or putting a lot of things in like the Tailwind helper. I see I made a Tailwind helper. For form fields, I will probably do a good amount of that, but a lot of that's going to be done in simple form. But for, you know, styling on these pages, you know, maybe this kind of table I'll reuse the header, whatever, but I'll figure that out later. I think I just suggest to you that, like, you don't worry about let me go back to the team, is just leave this stuff there. Put it in. You may need to tweak it later. I think the idea of focusing on centralization in different parts is something we just have to get away from if we're going to rapidly prototype and have the logic in the markup. We're going to see too when we start putting stimulus in and Alpine already. Is there any Alpine in this? That you're going to have even more stuff in the markups. Like, don't worry about it. It's better. It's more obvious. It's inline. That's what we want at the end of the day. Also, it's just so cool too. Like, I love being able to just rapidly like use the inspector. Like I can tell this is not inline here. So let me make it a little bigger first, just to see if that gets it more in line with the team text. So I'm just gonna, you see here, I'm in the inspector. I'm just gonna make it up to 9. That still doesn't do it. Let me go to the Tailwind docs. Here's another thing I've been using. This, you probably already found this. This is from Nerd Cave. This is a cheat sheet. It's totally up to date too. I even I save this in Chrome, save as full, like full web complete or whatever, or website complete, and I serve it up locally. And the reason I do that is I can use it if you're a total nerd and using tmux and WM3. I can serve it up this way. So let's get out of that there a sec. So I can just search. I just search for italic there, and I can search the docs using W3M. And you asked why I'm doing that, because this site will not serve if it's not JavaScript enabled. See it up here? But you're able to get away from it. Darn. Let's go into tmux here. Right here. This is what you'll see in... all right, forget it. Up here it says, we're sorry, this site does not work properly. You can get around it by serving it up this way. And you can expand it all. That still works. The JavaScript still works in here, but it gets served up so I can use it without having to go to actually go here. All right. So that's just another tidbit. Okay. So where was I? Oh, I wanted to look something up, right? So we want to do, here it is. Yeah, I'm just going to line top this. And I'm having fun because I'm right just in the markup here. And that makes it better. That's kind of straight, isn't it? So now I can go back to my markup here and put those things in. That's going to be, oh, I made a separate file for that, didn't I? Layout helper. Yeah, one thing I did in the layouts, so I have a header for each one of these sections. And I'm just going to add where you can add a icon to each too. And I'm using like a form shell, like if you saw a previous episode, to serve up these headers. So it's all this like section right here can all be delivered up and be reused. That's a good use for reusability. So what I did was I just made this layout header. The instance variable comes from the controller. And then this is just simply a helper, a layout helper. And when team, then it puts this. We're using the inline tag here again. Stroke current. So I'm going to just put these changes in. And also it did align top, right? Save it. I have auto reload on. Go to team. And then that looks better too as well. Okay, that's just yeah, this episode's mostly on using SVG with Tailwind and kind of saving within Rails, and yeah, saving you some markup in your views. So hope it was useful. Thanks for watching.